Hello everyone, my name is Boris and today we're going to take a look at the Denon SC2900. This review will be focused mainly on the workflow and what it's actually to own a set of Denon SC2900 CDJs. We're going to take a look at everything from the very beginning to the end. Basically, once you start, you have your music ready, how do you prepare for your set? We're going to take a look at engine, load the music in an engine, put it on a thumb drive, and then we're going to take a look at what it looks like to use that analyzed music on the Denons as well as non-analyzed MP3s. So basically, you're gonna get an idea of what it feels like to walk into a DJ booth and see a Denon SC2900 sitting there, and your music is not analyzed. So we're gonna try to see everything from a DJ point of view and what it's entailed into owning the set, owning the Denon SC2900, and as well as performing with them. So let's start from engine. There it is. This is the very main. This is the first time you open engine, which is available from Denon. If you go on Denon's website, you can download engine for free, just like Rekordbox, which I believe its direct competitor, and I think the two are basically designed to battle out. However, current versions of Rekordbox are light years ahead of engine. Engine is at this moment. This is as new as it gets, and this is the latest version of the software that we have. Okay, so here you see the library, which is currently empty. There's nothing in it, and our thumb drive, which I just formatted before we started the video. As soon as you plug it in, fire up engine, and you point at the thumb drive, it will automatically create the database structure on this thumb drive. So we can actually start moving music from the library of the computer to the target, which is our thumb drive. To begin, all we need to do is we need to import our files, and I have selected 10 files here for us, one of which is purposefully damaged. I just wanted to see what happens, because if you don't notice that a file is damaged, you can copy it to a thumb drive, go to the deck, plug it in, any deck, it doesn't matter which one it is, it's a Denon Pioneer or Newmark or anybody else, and it won't play. It will give you errors. Engine can prepare you for that, and as well as Rekordbox or any of the other competitors, of course, but it's here as well. As you can see, one of the files that I've damaged purposefully immediately tells us that it's not okay, and this is nice because you cannot go to a set, get ready, and all of a sudden, my favorite track is not playable. So you can actually account to this before. Now, the music that we've just imported is here under the DDJ library. This is the main library. As you can see, it's immediately starting to analyze the files. I believe it goes by file name. I'm not quite too sure what the order is. Sometimes it feels completely random, but I do think it's a file name. What you see here is the columns that we can filter through or sort our music. If you right click on any of the places here, you can select turn on and off others. On the very top, you see 4 filter boxes. Those are very useful as you're going through music. For example, here's all my minimal that I have just loaded in the 2 BPM ranges that I have. Whichever box you select first is your first filter, and then you cascade down. It doesn't matter which order you go afterwards, as well as they're actually changeable. See, you can take one and move it over if BPM is the most important or genre or artist, depending on your preference. These 4 you'll become very familiar with because they're also the only possible 4 filters on the units plus title. The unit adds one more of these boxes called title. So you have 5 filters available to you on the units once you get to the physical deck. Unfortunately, we cannot sort through key on the decks. You cannot search by key on the decks. So what I do is I use mixing key software, and I will make it add the key at the very end of the title of the song. So once I'm going through it, on the deck itself, the scrolling is pretty swift on the decks, as you'll see later on, so it's not a really big problem. You'll see your title track, and then immediately after that there's like a space dash space and the key, so it's really useful that way. I wish you would be able to search by key, but at this point in time it is not supported by the firmware of the decks. So what we're going to do now that the songs are analyzed, you can double click on a track or drag and drop. Of course, everybody's familiar with this system. And here you can preview a track and get ready to create hotkeys. These hotkeys, if they are created with an engine and then you transfer the music to the thumb drive, these hotkeys will transfer with the track because they're part of the database. So you can come here and with, whoa, I'm sorry about that. And with great accuracy, you can create your hotkeys. I'm sorry, my monitors are my main output right now. We're not outputting to the sound card. So we can create a hotkey right here. And then of course you can clear it and set it again. And then so forth. And you can, with great accuracy, because of this great display here, you can actually come and super accurately set your hotkey points, which is really neat. The one problem I have with, there's actually a couple of problems, but my main problem with an engine is that you cannot change the BPM. This BPM is absolute. Basically, it's the real-time BPM of the track. I would have really wished you will be able to change this. The reason why is because let's say you have a track that it's at 125 BPM, you would like to see or hear what it sounds like, actually more so hear what it sounds like at 130 or 132 depending on the set that you're trying to create, or if you're trying to make a transition. A lot of us never played the tracks of what the original BPM is anyway, so it's really would have been really nice if we can do this. Newer versions of Rekordbox can do that. So I would have loved to be able to see this in engine as well, but at this point in time we cannot. The other problem that is with an engine is this very green color. In the beginning it's not a big deal, it actually kind of looks a little cool until you start using it and preparing a 2 or 3 or 4 hour set, and all of a sudden you're staring at it for an hour going through hundreds and hundreds of tracks. And it's not just there, as you can see even here, if you're selecting many tracks, this green can become pretty sharp eventually. I know in the beginning it doesn't look very sharp, but trust me, I do use engine a lot because I use my own set of Denon SC2900s, and I've played 4 to 5 hour sets, and I've gone through hundreds of songs to try to get everything ready, and it can become a little tiresome after a while. It would have been nice if you can right click or something and just change it. At this point in time, we can't. There is a beat grid, as you can see. There's a beat grid. I haven't been able to do much with it. I haven't messed with it too much. It seems to be pretty accurate, and the reason why I can say this is because on the auto loop function of the units, I'm not sure how much engine and the decks utilize that beat grid. However, that's kind of a personal opinion, but I have noticed, as you hear me talk about this later on again, but it does seem like the beat grid is super accurate because of the auto looping feature. So anyways, the main problem, I should say, with engine is the auto loop section. The auto loop section I'm not sure if you were able to catch this, but it is not a smooth in and out. It has like a millisecond of interruption, but that millisecond makes the sound stutter. And in reality, it's not a clear representation of what a loop would sound through the sound system if I'm playing it in a club, and let's say I make a, I come over here and make a 1 count loop right here. It has like a little, I don't know if you can hear it. It has a little bit of a millisecond or so of delay. It is not present on the decks themselves. On the decks it's smooth, the loops are perfect. It goes through and through of them with great clarity, so you will not have that problem. Okay, so what we're gonna do now, you've gone through your music, you like all your tracks. Those tracks are randomly picked from my favorite DJ pool, so they have not been pre-selected. I just grabbed the first different genre and BPM tracks I could find and quickly just downloaded them. So I apologize, I haven't put much thought into this besides wanting to have different genres and BPM. So let's create a couple of playlists. Let's say that this will be our open playlist. This is what we're going to start the night with. Then we have a little bit of a build up. And then let's say that we have late night. Of course, you can create your playlists in any way you want. You can name them anything you'd like. I've done sometimes I will create playlists that are actually the genres depending on what I'm playing. Everybody has different preferences, but the playlist names are entirely up to you. They're not crucial to anything else. So let's call this one. What are we gonna call this? Oh, we're gonna call this one All, and I'll explain why. Once you create your library here and you decide, okay, I'm going to sort through, I'm going to use these particular songs, right? Because this is your entire library, so you'll have hundreds of songs, sometimes thousands. So you will select certain songs that you'd like to use for the set tonight. Let's say that these 3 songs will be our open set. Let's say that these 2 songs are our build up, and let's say that the rest of them are our late night. However, this song is also good for a build-up song, or you would like to repeat a song in another playlist just so you can have it. Let's say you didn't play this one here and you want to play it later tonight or something like that. You can move it over and you can have the same track into more than one playlist. What's really cool is that now what I usually do is I will take all the tracks from my made playlists here, right? From all of these little tracks. And now I'm going to create a playlist that contains all the songs into all of my playlists. Now, the compilation of all the playlists is this guy. The reason why I do this is because it truly helps a ton. Now, notice that there's a duplicate of this song that we did. I'm going to delete one of those copies of it. It's not necessary to have it. So, here's our 9 tracks. These are all the tracks that are on this set of playlists. What I usually do is I'm going to copy this guy first to the thumb drive. The reason why I do this is because it creates the folder system on the thumb drive, which is every track in its own folder and so on and so on. If you've used Rekordbox, this is identical of a structure. But it makes a single copy of these tracks. And then now every time I drop one of those lists here, it's actually not a secondary copy of these tracks. It just creates the pointers to those tracks. As you can see, they're just going to appear one after another. This is a personal preference. Of course, you can do it any other way you would like. This is just something I like to do because now I have a playlist with all my tracks that I can easily access. As you can see, it immediately detects that the tracks are actually analyzed because they are part of our database. And now the database and all the hot cues or anything else that we've created is actually moved in here with the tracks. And basically, you're ready to go out there and go to the club and start playing those tracks. So they're ready, they're already on this thumb drive. If you'd like to see what the file structure looks like, there we go, we're going to take a look. On this thumb drive, it says Denon. Let's rename this thumb drive because, no, let's leave it be. It's not a big deal. Let's come here and you will see here, there you go, those are the file names that we have, and you can go underneath and find the specific tracks. You have seen this before with different Rekordbox, for example, will build the same type of structure. It's nice for you to be familiar with this because if you have a thumb drive that is analyzed for engine and you walk up into the club and it only has Pioneers, you will actually have to scroll folder like through this, and it can be very tedious. So make sure that engine and Rekordbox are not compatible. I'm trying to get a video done Rekordbox versus engine later on. We're gonna see if I'll get to it tonight. But the idea is that their databases are not compatible, of course, and you will have to be prepared. You have to know in advance what you're using. But if you have a thumb drive with non-analyzed music, which we're gonna see what it looks like on the Denons, it's basically the same as what you will see on any Pioneer that you can walk up to. So, alright, I believe we're ready. If you have any further questions about engine, please post them and I'll try to answer them. But this is a free to download software from Denon's website, so please go ahead and do that before even considering purchasing the units and see if it's something that you would like to use, if it's something that fits your personal workflow, and if it's something that you can deal with. So okay, let's go to the units right now, plug in the thumb drive, and see what it looks like there.
Now that we have copied the music onto the thumb drives, this is the thumb drive with the analyzed music, and this is the thumb drive that just has the copy of the songs. What we're going to do now is we're going to power up the units. They're currently not linked. This cable right here goes out, and it is not connected to the other unit. It is right here, just sitting on the side. We're going to take a look at them individually first, and then we're going to link them together. So let's power them up real quick and see what it looks like. There they are. I have these settings for the outer ring on negative. I find this to be the better option for me. It's a little bit too bright in a DJ booth if you have the blue ring all lit up. So I also find it easier for you to follow the pointer around the ring. So there we go. USB. And title, genre, BPM, artist, and album. As you can see, those are the only 5 filters we have available to us. Let's say we sort by title. Here's all of our 9 tracks. If you'd like to access the playlist that we did earlier, all you need to do is hit Shift, Playlist, and there you are. History, all, build up, late night, and open. As you can see, those are the tracks that we have loaded. Now, on the screen you see the rudimentary wave display that we saw, similar to the one on Engine. You see the BPM. This is your pitch control. The display is very easy to read. It's very clean, bright. It's really nice. On this side we have our creative portion. We have looping, and we have cue points, in and out for the loop and automatic loop. Speed forward, backwards, next track, previous track, cue, and play. Everything from here down is a standard CDJ workflow. Nothing, absolutely nothing different, nothing to surprise you. If you walk into a DJ booth and they have a pair of Denon SC2900s, you should not be surprised. There's not, just plug your music and play, everything will come to you. There's nothing to surprise you, nothing is different. The cue point and the playback buttons feel really good, they're solid, they feel great. In general, the quality of the units is really good. I will highly recommend them. If you're on the market at this price range, there's nothing comparable to them. You have linking, you have hot cues, slip mode, everything. If you're here watching this review, you've already seen every feature possible on the Denon, and if not, I recommend you doing a little research on them, and you'll find plenty of videos and websites reviewing all the features of the unit. We're here to talk about workflow. And as we talk about workflow, the sensation and the feel of the platter is really good. You have torque adjustability here on the side. The pitch fader right here is very nice and smooth. It does have a notch in the middle. The notch itself is very smooth. It's light. It doesn't hold. I mean, you can feel that it's there, but it doesn't make you hold it. It doesn't stop you. Basically, you can move through it. So for all the people coming from vinyl, at the beginning this might be a little, oh wait, there's a little notch there, but it's pretty smooth. It's not a big deal. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to actually connect this unit to the other one and see what it's like. No, before this, let's see our tracks that are not analyzed. What's the difference? With all of our tracks analyzed, if we go back to our list, you can see it's reading the ID3 tag, but it's also reading the library. Here's our lists. We can sort through it. Let's say we can sort by genre and so forth. Let's take the thumb drive that is not analyzed, and we're going to plug it in. And as you can see, we've just seen the root folder with all the files, and what we're reading here is actually the file name, which is not any different than any other CDJ on the market. Once we load the track, if it has ID3 tag, it'll pull the BPM from there, and it's also going to start building a little waveform a few seconds ahead of the playback. If you click on display here, you'll be able to scroll through the ID3 tag information. So it does help some, and then the last screen is just a playlist again. So it does help some, but it is not as nice, is not as comfortable as if you have your music analyzed. But in general, the workflow is still the same. Again, your cues, playback, the platter works. As you can see, the little light lights up over there. And there you are. If you let the sound, the music play and continue to play back forward, it's going to continue to build that sound wave faster and faster and faster, and comes to the end. One thing I've noticed that some of the reviews online say that if the units are linked and you're playing from this unit to this unit, it will actually copy the track. It actually doesn't. If you disconnect the network or the network fails, you will lose the sound, as well as if they're connected through Engine. It's the same problem. So make sure that if you're playing on a stable network, and you will not lose the connection between the two units. There's one more problem that I found out if the units are linked, and we're going to get there in just a minute. Here's the cable. I'm going to give them just a second for them to find each other. You can see here I have USB and I have the analyze music on this thumb drive. Come in here, I'm going to click link. Takes a second before it finds its network, but there you go. Now we are on. As you can see, even if I scroll through here or here, it doesn't matter which way I'm scrolling. If you notice here, it's also scrolling down on the other unit. So basically, if you're scrolling through your library and you are at a certain place, your browsing is the same on both units. So you're playing here, you go through it, you change genres, you go through a different folder, for example, or something else like this, you will be on the same spot here as well, which is very helpful when you're playing a gig. You know that you're on the same browsing spot. It doesn't matter on which unit you are, you're always at the same browsing spot. So, you know, playing the track is easy, it's fast, quickly loads. I don't have, my mixer is not on, so I'm going to power it up so we can actually hear. There we go. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you what happens if you disconnect the network. Yeah, there we go. Now this was dependent on the link from the other track. And there it goes. It has a cool effect. It kind of winds down, but you lose the track. So you're going to have to reestablish your connection, reestablish your link, and that will play back. I'm going to point out to another issue that we have with the Denon SC2900. It's really not an issue. It's really not a problem. It is something to be aware of. There we go. We're going to link back to deck 1. We're going to play the song again. Okay, this track is playing. I am the second DJ to come on set. The first DJ used this thumb drive. I'm currently using my thumb drive, USB here, linked to this deck. The first DJ would like to go home. I'm playing live. This is hot. This deck is hot. Is what is playing into the club. Remember, this is linked, correct? So he decides to pull his thumb drive, which is not used anymore. So he clicks the eject button, and boom. The deck goes dark. This happened to us when we were playing live, and it was very, very embarrassing. It was very rough. It's easily avoidable if you're aware that it does this. You can just make sure you're playing on this deck before you pull the thumb drive out. But if you're unaware that the units do this, it could be, I mean, as you can see, catastrophic. It's fast to recover because it's always in the same spot, but this thing, I would really hope Denon addresses this issue, this problem with the ejecting of the thumb drive. It's pretty rough. Okay, this is basically what it takes for you to get ready from the beginning to the end to play on a set. We showed you how you can load your music from Engine, and then you're coming back to units. This is the most common way you will see the units set up with a single cable link. What we're going to do now is we're going to turn them off, and we're going to hook them up to the network where this engine is, and we're going to see what it's like to play using Engine as well on the network. So I have found that it's best if I turn the units off. You most certainly don't have to, but I have had the best experience with it. So I'm going to take this cable, which is connected to deck 1, and I'm going to plug it to my wired network here, and then I have an extra cable. I'm trying to do this in one take so you guys can see it unedited and you can see what it's like to actually work with and on the units. Okay, now what's happening is I have these two units connected to the same network where this laptop is connected as well. So we're going to fire them up. I'm also going to take this thumb drive, which had the non-analyzed music on there, and I'm going to plug it in. Now as soon as I have connected the units, oh come on, that's embarrassing. I should probably edit that, huh? Okay, as soon as I fired up the units again, they popped up into Engine. There they are, Unit 1 and Unit 2. And now Engine has changed as well, if you notice a little bit. There's no longer the playback section on the top, it's just sorting through and file through. Something else important for you to see is right over here, you will have deck 1 and deck 2, and those are actually the two thumb drives. So using this is really cool. So if you click here, actually I have to be onto it first, but if you have this active, there it is. Now, oh, sorry, this is important. You first need to click on link and link the unit to Engine. There it is. We're going to link the other one to Engine as well. There it is. Now they're connected to Engine. So if I scroll on the unit, it scrolls. As you can see, I scroll here. You can see the different names changing here, which are the same as here. And if I click on one of those, it actually pulls from the computer through the network onto the unit. Those are not the files on the thumb drive. They will be if... Sorry about the interruption. My phone was ringing, so I had to answer it. So, once you click on link, you select Engine, and now you're linked to Engine. And you will notice that it will show the track if it's playing or queued in, and also the name of the track appears. So it's really, really neat. The same thing happens here. You can scroll through, and again, there you are. Now here is something really, really neat. If you click back a few times, you can see me going through it, and then you are here onto the folders. Notice I'm using this to scroll through it, and I'm going to click here. What happens is this... Oh, come on. This is actually the playlists that are on the thumb drive of deck 1, which are the ones we built up, right? This library here is actually the library on this very thumb drive, and you can play this thumb drive using Engine on the computer. Why I'm saying this, why this is cool, it is cool because the second thumb drive is actually not analyzed. This thumb drive contains music on the main folder, and there we are. The difference is this doesn't have any of the columns, so you can't sort through it. It doesn't give you any kind of filtering, but it is still the music that is on this thumb drive. So if you walk into a club, you have a couple hundred songs on a thumb drive, and there happen to be a laptop connected to the network where the Denons are, you can use Engine to better display your music because you can see quite a lot more of it. And there you go. Now this track is loaded on this deck, and you can also see it right here. And there you are. Now the music is being pulled from the thumb drive. As you can see, it started blinking. It's not pulled through the network from the computer. The computer is just a display for the list that is on the thumb drive. I find this to be very, very useful. I have guest DJs to come and play with me, and once we plug the thumb drive and I have like a small laptop put to the side, it is really, really good. Very, very easy for them to just scroll through their music without having to look at the little screen, because remember, this is what it looks like if you just open it from here. So you have to wait for it to scroll through. That's a lot nicer. So this is it. If you have any other questions, please post below. I will try to reply as fast as I can and get you guys answers on the Denon SC2900. Personal recommendation, do purchase them. They're great units for the price. They will give you standard CDJ workflow. It is something that you can work with, practice, be more creative with. It is something that's slightly different than the standard, but you are within the same type of workflow, so you will not feel out of place if you walk into a club and there's a pair of 2000s or a pair of 900s. You'll be right at home. So again, this is Boris. Thank you for watching, and if you guys have any questions, please post below and I will try to make a video reply. If you'd like to see something that we haven't addressed, or if you have a personal consideration, if you're thinking about purchasing the units but you'd like to see something in more detail, please let me know and I'll try to make a detailed video about it. The reason why I'm doing this is because you cannot walk into a store and play on a pair of these. They're very rare to find in any of the stores, so when I was buying my personal set, I couldn't find them anywhere, so I bought them sight unseen. I just kind of trusted my gut and hit the purchase button. So for all of you guys that are out there and they're trying to decide should I or should I not, I'd like to offer you an opportunity to ask questions and to see if there's something that you would like to check on the units before you purchase them, or if you'd like me to do something with them, play a specific way or something. I don't know what the questions might be, but I had some. My personal questions were answered once I got mine, so don't hesitate. Please feel free to ask me any questions you have. Thank you very much.